The highlights of EULAR 2017 in Madrid, there's been a number of interesting developments. The oral small molecules in rheumatoid arthritis continue to be a number of publications and posters. Baricitinib, recently approved in Europe and the UK, still a little bit held up in the US by the FDA. Good data in rheumatoid, particularly in the methotrexate inadequate responders and the TNF inadequate responders. First drug ever with methotrexate to beat the gold standard adalimumab with methotrexate. There's a number of other JAKs that were presented, filgotinib, and a number of tofacitinib posters as well. AbbVie have a new one, upadacitinib, which they're starting to show some interesting data as well. So very soon we'll have 4 JAK inhibitors to try and work out who for what. Tofa published some lovely data in psoriatic arthritis, showing good efficacy, no new safety signals, and acceptable and manageable safety. Not quite as good as the TNFs on skin, but still good joint symptom control and the oral convenience of the JAKs. The other big area has been the IL-17 inhibitors, secukinumab, and for the first time izokizumab in TNF inadequate responders was shown at this meeting and released in The Lancet about a week ago and looks very promising. Skin effects and nail effects quite striking, joint effects quite effective in the TNF switch population. So it's nice to know that we're now going to have 3 17 inhibitors, secukinumab, brodalumab in some countries, and izokizumab as an alternate mechanism of action in the spondyloarthropathies. Well, my personal interest is in psoriatic arthritis and spondyloarthritis, and the biggest sort of controversial issue, we now have to treat to target because patients do better. They do better signs and symptoms, they do better functionally, they do better from damage point of view. Problem, there's no consensus as what the target should be. There's not even any consensus on what disease activity measure we should use, and people are just borrowing measures from rheumatoid which really don't apply. For example, the DAS28 is being used, but leaves out DIP joints, ankles, feet, knees, all the joints that are very commonly involved in PSA. So the GRAPPA group are very keen for MDA, minimal disease activity, or VLDA, very low disease activity, to be the outcome target. The Europeans are very keen on DAPSA. GRAPPA is very keen on the PASDAS, psoriatic arthritis disease activity score, to be the daily measure you do, particularly in clinical trials, to tell you how active things are today. And again, the Europeans are very keen on DAPSA. The problem that GRAPPA have with DAPSA is that it measures joints only. So it leaves out dactylitis, it leaves out enthesitis, it leaves out axial, it leaves out skin and nails. And we really think that you need a composite measure to be more overall managing patients and all the aspects of their disease, rather than just one very good joint count assessment by itself. And the message really needs to be to rheumatologists, joints aren't all of psoriatic arthritis. Not only the comorbidities, which we can talk about, but the other elements, axial, enthesitis, dactylitis, skin, these are very important measures, and the young rheumos need to learn that they have to assess the full extent of the disease. For example, if you're a diabetic and you go to an endocrinologist and he only looks at your blood sugar, you'd be justifiably annoyed because he should be looking in your eyes, checking your kidneys, checking peripheral nerves, peripheral arteries. So it's the overall total management like that we need to encourage with PSA in particular. Unexpected presentations, there haven't been too many. I think the issue with the JAKs that I'm looking for, especially the new JAKs, do they lose their selectivity when you push to a more effective dose? And then they start cranking up a little bit on the safety side. So I'm looking to see that you can maintain selectivity with an effective dose. And there's some wrinkles there that really need to be ironed out to be 100% sure. The other thing that's quite prominent at this meeting is the IL-6 inhibitors. Tocilizumab is established. A lot of sarilumab papers with methotrexate, without methotrexate. They showed a head-to-head against adalimumab monotherapy with superiority for the IL-6. There's another one called sirukumab that's being pushed, and a nanobody IL-6 inhibitor. But the new IL-6s don't seem to have a great benefit over the established one, apart from fortnightly instead of weekly, for example. Efficacy, same. Safety profile, similar. We know what to look for. But I got a feeling that the oral JAKs, which work by blocking many cytokines, but IL-6 in particular, might make it difficult to justify an IL-6 injectable when the tablet does a very similar thing. There's a number of sessions on PSA and new understanding the pathogenesis of PSA in particular. There's a number of new IL-23 inhibitors, guselkumab and a few others that are coming, and I'm looking to see if there's a real advantage of just blocking 23 compared to some of the other mechanisms like 17 and like JAK and like TNF. So that'll be quite interesting.